Hey guys, Jason here from Freelance Sound Labs, and I'm going to give you a bit of a run through on installing third-party NKS packs for the Complete Control and Machine software. Now these are NKS packs that allow third-party VSTs not yet NKS compatible to work with the machine and the Complete Control software. Now I'm going to be using Complete Control to demonstrate this, but the process is exactly the same in Machine as well. Once you have the libraries installed for the instruments, they'll appear under the User tab in the software. You can find a number of NKS compatibility packs for third-party VSTs at freelancesoundlabs.com. So we're going to have a look at installing an NKS library that we've downloaded from Freelance Sound Labs. If we open up the zip file here, we'll see that we have a README, we've got installation instructions, a PDF here. We've then got a folder for the presets, and then there's a database files folder at the top. Now the database files folder has the categories database and the image artwork for the VSTs. Okay, so I'm going to switch to Complete Control now and run through this. Now the process is exactly the same in the Machiner software, so you should be able to follow along, no problems. If you happen to have both Machiner and Complete Control on the computer, you have to do the preset scanning for the user library in both pieces of software to have them both pop up. Now this is all done in the user library of Complete Control. So up here we've got the user library tab. It's the little highlighted silhouette of a person. So the little world icon next to it is for our factory library. Now the first thing you'll notice if you're brand new to the software is this screen has no plugins populated. There's nothing in the screen here, so even if you have third-party VSTs, they don't appear here automatically. Even a blank template doesn't appear. We have to create one ourselves. So before we start creating anything in here, we should first make sure that the software can actually detect our installed plugins. Check for the plugins scanned into the software by going to Menu, then to Plugins, and then looking through the list to identify the plugins you have installed. If your plugin is not listed in the software, you will need to go into the Preferences menu and then to the Plugin menu and check under Locations to make sure that the location set is the location where your VSTs are installed. You can add additional locations, and then anytime you add any locations, you'll need to rescan in the software. You should also be aware that only 64-bit plugins will open in the 64-bit version of Complete Control. You need to be using either all 64-bit or all 32-bit. It's probably recommended these days to be using 64-bit by now. Now in this example, we're going to install a library for Omnisphere. So I'll scroll down to Omnisphere and load the plugin to make sure that it works in the software. As long as the plugin loads, then the presets should work just fine. Now that Omnisphere is loaded, I'll demonstrate quickly how to save an NKS file. When we save the instrument to an NKS file, it will appear in the user library preset list. When you first load a plugin from the plugin list, it will automatically be configured with a default set of controls. It is normally recommended to delete these pages and reconfigure them in a logical order. We're not going to configure controls in this example, we're just going to save a quick template. I'm just going to give this the name Test, and this should appear in our user library. If I now go to the instrument browser, I'll see that under the Vendor tab, I have a Spectrasonics entry, and then underneath that is an Omnisphere entry. Under Category, I have Omnisphere listed under Other, and there is no artwork. Once we install artwork and a database file for the plugin, we will see artwork and categories listed. So now we'll look at manually installing the Omnisphere NKS library that we've downloaded. Start by unzipping the files to a temporary location. Refer to the installation instructions included with every package, as these contain a lot of useful information and a complete detailed guide on how to install the NKS pack. We're going to start with the installation of the database and image files. The database files folder contains two folders. The database files are installed in the shared NI resources folder. You simply need to copy the image folder and the dist database folder to this location. The image folder should already exist in this location. Be sure to copy the images into the folder and not override the folder. You don't want to delete what's in there already. If there is no dist database folder in this location, simply create it manually. Inside the database file from the download, we have a vendor folder, and then inside here a plugin folder with 3 configuration files. Simply copy the database files from the download to the computer. Next we have the image folder for the plugin artwork. This is simply copied into the image folder in the NI resources. As you'll see, there are a number of folders already existing. We simply need to copy the vendor folder from within the images folder from the download to the images folder in the NI resources location. If I load up Complete Control now and check the preset that we saved earlier, we should notice that in the instrument browser we now have artwork and we also have a category entry. You can create your own entries for the user library for a simple preset template so that you can load up an instrument. Simply copy what's already been done in one of the NKS library downloads. Pay close attention to the naming of the folders. The JSON database files can be edited with any text editor. To change them for your own needs, simply follow what's been done, paying close attention to the formatting and the syntax. Next we install the preset files. By default, the native instruments user content folder is located in your user folder under the documents, native instruments, and then user content. Opening our user content library, we'll see that we already have an Omnisphere folder with the test file that we saved previously. I'm just going to delete this and replace it with the Omnisphere folder from the downloads. Open the preset files folder and then copy the presets to the user content location. Open up the standalone version of the software, then go into the Preferences, select the Library tab, and then select the User Library. Do a rescan of the user library and wait for it to scan all of the presets. Once the scanning is completed, we should see a populated library of tags and presets. If we go to the instrument browser, we should now see artwork for our instrument as well as the instrument logo when selected. Hopefully by this point, you have the instrument working and you have the database and image files working correctly. If you do happen to have any problems, feel free to drop me an email or visit the Native Instruments forum for more information.